Hello and welcome to the third video in this series of tutorials for the practical course of Siemens NX. Today I'm gonna show you the solution for your first exercise, which is creating this this part that consists of a hollow cylinder and a cone on top of it. For all of the parts that you're gonna model, one thing is always the same, and that is that you can find probably countless ways to do everything. And if your solution is different to mine, but the end product is the same, then it's probably as good as mine, just a different way of doing it. So don't be discouraged if I'm doing it differently, but I'm gonna show you the way that I think is the best one to do it, because doing it like I will do it will help you also for future parts, because you can kind of take this procedure as a blueprint for anything you want to do. So first of all, I will be starting with the cylinder by creating a sketch, as we are always starting, and then drawing a circle right here, which is the base of the cylinder, and I'm choosing the circle method up here. If you see this little window open, so we know we are now in the circle function, and I can choose, if I use this by center and diameter, the center point which I want to lay on the sketch origin. So I'm clicking right here on the sketch origin, and then I'm dragging the diameter anywhere, and you see this little window opens where I can type in something. So I'll just type in the 50 millimeters that are given that we need for our diameter. So I'm clicking 50, I pressed enter, and now I can close the circle application again. And that's already it for our first sketch. And if you have done your sketch for your base, that you always will do as a first step, you have to look down here, and it says sketch is fully defined. That's not so important for you now what it means. It's just nice to know to check that and see if it says sketch is fully defined. And if you did it like I did, then it should be. So I'm clicking finish, and now I have it here. And now we need to make this 2D sketch into a 3D model. And to do that, we use our first function right here, which is called extrude. So I clicked on extrude, and because I have had selected a sketch before, it already chose it right here. And I also have a distance which was pre-defined right here, but it's not the correct one for us. We need 200 millimeters, right? The Boolean, which you should know by now, can be none for now because it's our first part, and we click OK. Now, the second step that I would like to do is hollowing out the cylinder in the middle, because we need a hollow cylinder. For that, I'm starting a new sketch on the same plane, right down here. It's the top plane. Click on OK. Again, grab the circle tool, click on the sketch origin, and type in the diameter of 30. I'm finishing, and again choosing the extrude function. I already had selected it again. I want to show you how it would look if you have nothing selected. Right now, nothing is selected, and if I click on extrude now, it wants me to select a curve. You see that red asterisk right here says I have to do it. And it being yellow also says that that's a step that we have to do next. So selecting the curve, I could either do it like that, but I like to do it from here because it's easier to grab it. You see, it selected it, and now we have to pay attention to the boolean, because now we don't want to just extrude it, but we want to subtract it from the outer cylinder. So I'm choosing subtract, and you see, now it does what we want. If we are on the occasion, I could also show you what, for example, intersect means in a practical example. Intersect would only leave the common body of both, which is only the center one. I hope you can wrap your mind around that, but that's not what we want. We want subtract, which only leaves the outer shell. I click on OK, and now we have that, which already looks pretty good. The last thing we have to do is make our tip up here, which is this cone. And with the extrude function that we have used so far, you will quickly find out, if you try to do it, that it's not possible to do this cone. For that we need something else, which is the revolve function, the second one that we are frequently using in this course. And if you got the extrude and the revolve function completely down, you already have like a good part of the course, because these are the main functions, and using them and all of the unite, subtract, intersect functions, you can almost model everything. Of course, there's still some limitations, and for those we will learn one or two more functions, but the important ones definitely are extrude and revolve, so make sure you use them as often as possible, that you get fluent using them, and then that's already a big step for the exam. So yeah, what do we want? So how can we use the revolve function to make this cylinder? Well, for the revolve function, we also always need kind of a cut through the shape that we want to revolve, and for that I'm clicking on this plane right here, right? You see, now I see the cylinder from the side, and I now want to choose this line tool. Excuse me. Lay that point right here on the XC of 0, that's okay, and the YC of 200, so the end of our cylinder right here. And then I'm going up for the length of 50, and angle 90 is already correct. Okay, and now I'm gonna take this point here, go out for the length of 25, because our diameter, remember, was 50, and 25 is then, we'll make sure that we have exactly the edge right here. And now we are only connecting these two lines, and click on the X, and now it says sketch is partially defined. That's not what we want. We want our sketches always to be fully defined, and that means that all the dimensions are given to an extent so that nothing can be freely interpreted anymore, okay? So that everything is fixed. And right now you see we have a dimension here. We say this line should be 25, and we say this line should be 50. So what is still missing? Well, maybe we can try out to grab the line anywhere, not having selected any tool, and see if we can drag it around. Yeah, and you can see we can move the whole thing up and down, but everything else seems to be not movable. So I'm pressing Control and Z to make it to undo everything I did, and we learned we can only move it up and down. So that's one thing that we still have to define, because we shouldn't be able to move anything. And how can we define this? Well, for example, we can make a dimension which says that this line should be in a distance of 200 to this axis. And how do we do that? We can just select the line by clicking on it, then click on the axis, and now you see this green dimension right here gets created. And when I click it and confirm 200 with enter, okay, it's already confirmed. Now I pressed OK to get escape to get out. You can see it's now black. We have defined that this line should be in a distance of 200 from this one, and now the sketch is fully defined. That's what we want. So now we click on finish, and you can see we have our sketch right here. That's basically half of the side view of this cone that we want on top. I hope you can imagine that. And now, to get it into 3D, the idea would be taking that, rotating it around the center axis, and if we rotate that around the center axis, you can imagine this area leaving a trail of material and therefore creating a cone. You will see how that plays out. Let me start new. Clicking on revolve, again something opens, and it wants us to select a section curve. That's the curve of the section that we just drew. I'm going to select it from here. And the next thing, which is one step more that we need for extrude, we now also need to specify around which vector this thing should be turned. And it should be turned around the center axis, which is the Z axis, for example. So specify vector. We have multiple options. We could choose the Z axis, for example. We could also choose this line, because rotating it around this line is also fine. But I think I'll choose the Z axis because that's the easiest for now. You can see now this cone is up here, and by clicking on OK, we create it. The only thing that I'm not sure now is what Boolean function was used, and it was none. And indeed we want unite right now because we want this and this to be one part. So we choose unite. Now we would have to select a body, but because this is the only body that's adjacent to this one, it already knew, okay, we wanted to unite it with that one, so it already selected it for us. And if we click OK, now we have one continuous body. Yeah, so that was the, well, quote-unquote best solution, or at least in my opinion, the best solution to create this part. I hope you could learn something from it, and we will see each other in the next video.